The Florida Everglades. A vast, unforgiving wilderness. Stretching over 1.5 million acres, it is a place of both beauty and danger, where nature reigns supreme. It has swallowed many dreams. Dreams of explorers, adventurers, and even those just passing through. On December 29, 1972, it claimed another. A day that would be etched in history. Eastern Airlines Flight 401, a Lockheed L-1011 TriStar, vanished into its murky depths, a modern marvel of aviation lost in an instant. This was no ordinary crash, it became a legend, a story told and retold, growing more mysterious with each passing year, a chilling tale of tragedy and terror. The night was dark, the swamp even darker as the wreckage lay scattered, a silent witness to the horror that unfolded. Whispers of the supernatural cling to the wreckage. Stories of ghostly apparitions and eerie encounters have become part of the lore. This is the story of Flight 401, a story that begins like any other but ends in a way no one could have imagined. Ladies and gentlemen, brace yourselves for a journey into the unknown. A flight shrouded in mystery where every moment is a step deeper into the enigma of Eastern Airlines Flight 401. The flight was routine. A standard trip from New York to Miami, a journey made countless times before. From New York City to Miami, a familiar route. A path well traveled by many seeking the warmth of the Florida sun, hundreds of souls on board, ready for sunshine and celebration. Families, friends, and individuals, each with their own story. The crew, seasoned professionals, prepared for a smooth journey. They had done this many times before, confident in their skills and the aircraft. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. The skies darkened, and what began as a routine flight turned into a nightmare. A series of unfortunate events would lead to a tragedy that still haunts the Everglades to this day. The Lockheed L-1011 TriStar was a marvel of modern aviation, a symbol of progress and luxury. Passengers settled into their seats. The hum of conversation filled the cabin. Anticipation for the holidays hung in the air. Little did they know, they were stepping into a nightmare. Captain Bob Loft, a veteran pilot, commanded the flight. His experience was unmatched. First Officer Don Repo and Second Officer Bert Stockstill, equally skilled, completed the crew. Confidence radiated from the cockpit. It was a routine flight, or so they thought. As Flight 401 cruised towards Miami, a subtle warning light flickered. The landing gear indicator malfunctioned. A minor issue, or so it seemed. The crew, following protocol, initiated a routine check. They couldn't have known this was the beginning of their descent into darkness. The pilots, focused on the indicator, didn't realize the autopilot had disengaged. The plane, ever so slowly, began to lose altitude. The Everglades, a silent predator, waited below. The passengers, oblivious to the danger, continued their conversations. The mood remained light, but time was running out. The cockpit became a scene of frantic activity. The crew, struggling to diagnose the indicator problem, didn't notice their descent. The altimeter, a crucial instrument, remained unnoticed. Its silent warning went unheard. The ground, once miles away, drew closer. Minutes turned into an eternity. The tension in the cockpit was palpable. The pilots, their faces illuminated by the instrument panel's glow, fought to regain control. But the Everglades, unforgiving and vast, loomed closer. This routine flight was transforming into a desperate fight for survival. Section 5. The Everglades Embrace. Suddenly, the ground proximity warning system blared to life. "Pull up! Pull up!" a mechanical voice screamed. The crew, jolted into action, realized the horrifying truth. They were seconds from impact. It was too late. The Lockheed L-1011 TriStar, once a symbol of human ingenuity, slammed into the Everglades. The impact, deafening and violent, tore the plane apart. The swamp, disturbed from its slumber, swallowed the wreckage. The night was filled with the cries of the injured and the dying. Section 6. A Legacy of Loss. The crash of Eastern Airlines Flight 401 sent shockwaves across the nation. 101 souls perished in the murky waters of the Everglades. The scale of the tragedy was unimaginable. The loss, immeasurable. The world mourned. Amidst the wreckage, a glimmer of hope. 75 passengers and crew survived. Pulled from the twisted metal and submerged debris, their survival was miraculous. But the scars of that night, both physical and emotional, would remain. Section 7. Searching for Answers. The National Transportation Safety Board launched a full-scale investigation. The wreckage, painstakingly recovered from the swamp, held the key to understanding the tragedy. Every piece, every instrument, scrutinized. The investigation revealed a series of errors. A simple malfunction, compounded by miscommunication and a loss of situational awareness, led to the crash. The blame, it seemed, lay with human error, but some whispered of other forces at play. Section 8. Whispers from the wreckage. As investigators combed through the wreckage, a chilling discovery emerged. Parts from Flight 401, deemed usable, were salvaged and installed on other Eastern Airlines aircraft. It was a common practice, but these salvaged parts, it seemed, carried something with them, something unsettling. Reports began to surface, strange occurrences, unexplained noises, and then, the sightings began. Passengers on other Eastern Airlines flights claimed to see them. The crew of Flight 401, their ghostly visages appearing on board, their presence felt but not understood. Section 9. The Spectre of Flight 401. The story of Flight 401 is one that has intrigued and terrified many over the years. It all began on a fateful night in December 1972, when Eastern Airlines Flight 401 crashed into the Florida Everglades, claiming the lives of over 100 passengers and crew members. But the story didn't end there. One salvage part, in particular, gained notoriety. Among the wreckage, several parts were salvaged and repurposed for use in other aircraft. These parts were thought to be perfectly functional, but one piece stood out from the rest: the oven from Flight 401's galley. This seemingly ordinary oven would soon become the center of a series of eerie and unexplained events. Installed on another aircraft, it became a focal point for paranormal activity. Maintenance crews and flight staff began to notice strange occurrences whenever they were near this oven. Flight attendants reported seeing a ghostly figure emerge from the oven. This figure was not just a fleeting shadow or a trick of the light. A man, his face burned, his eyes filled with terror. The apparition was so vivid and detailed that it left those who saw it in a state of shock and disbelief. Word of these sightings spread through the airline. Stories of the ghostly figure quickly circulated among the crew, creating a mix of fear and curiosity. Fear and fascination gripped the crews. Some were too scared to work near the oven, while others were intrigued and wanted to witness the phenomenon for themselves. Some dismissed it as superstition. They believed it was just a case of overactive imaginations and the power of suggestion. Others, those who had witnessed the events firsthand, knew better. They were convinced that the ghostly figure was real, and that it was somehow connected to the tragic crash of Flight 401. The legend of Flight 401 was taking on a life of its own. As more and more people shared their experiences, the story of the haunted oven and the ghostly figure became a part of aviation folklore, a chilling reminder of the tragedy that occurred in the Everglades. Section 10. Encounters in the Skies. In the vast expanse of the skies where the boundaries between reality and the unknown blur, tales of spectral encounters have always intrigued and mystified. Captain Bob Loft, the pilot of Flight 401, became a recurring figure in these spectral tales. His presence was not just a fleeting shadow, but a vivid apparition that left an indelible mark on those who witnessed it. Passengers claimed to see him sitting in the cabin, his uniform immaculate, his face etched with concern. They described the eerie sensation of being watched, the hairs on the back of their necks standing on end as they felt his presence. He would vanish as quickly as he appeared, leaving behind a chill in the air. The temperature would drop noticeably, and a sense of unease would permeate the cabin, as if the very air had absorbed his lingering sorrow. Flight attendants reported seeing him in the galley, checking the oven, his expression a mixture of sadness and urgency. They recounted how he seemed to be searching for something or perhaps someone, his eyes filled with a haunting desperation. Was he trying to prevent another tragedy? Was he attempting to communicate a warning, a message from beyond the grave? The questions lingered, unanswered, adding to the mystery. Was he trapped, reliving those final moments? The thought of a soul unable to find peace, bound to the place of its last moments, sent shivers down the spines of those who pondered it. The sightings continued, fueling the legend of Flight 401. Each new account added another layer to the story, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit and the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. Section 11. A haunting reminder. The haunting of Eastern Airlines linked to the salvaged parts of Flight 401 became a phenomenon. It forced people to confront the unexplainable. The stories passed down through generations of airline staff serve as a chilling reminder. The crash of Flight 401 was a tragedy, but it also birthed a legend, a haunting tale of loss, terror, and the unquiet spirits of those lost in the Florida Everglades. The wreckage may be gone, but the memory and the mystery of Flight 401 lives on.